How's it going, everybody? My name is Spencer Presley, joining you for another iteration of my very infrequent show, SMTN Radio. Today's episode, we'll be celebrating the new year by taking a look back at all of the amazing music that came out in 2025, or at least 40 plus songs, because I only had so much time and so many games came out last year, so many amazing soundtracks, so many games I still need to get to. But in as much of a chronological order as I could do, I wanted to include as many games as possible, with the exception of trying to include more than one song, because that would be a slippery slope. So every game will be detailed a little bit here in terms of here's the song, here's the game. I will not be talking too much as opposed to just introducing each game for this episode, so I hope you enjoy. If you have a game that you wish was included in this list or any favorites you were happy to see included, please give them a shout out in the links below. If there was ever going to be an episode that I was definitely going to get demonetized for instantly, it's going to be this one. So if you would like what I do, whether it be the Shin Megami Tensei Network podcast or just whatever I post online and with YouTube, anything on my Patreon is the best way to support me directly. That's patreon.com/SMTN. That's patreon.com/SMTN. So without further ado, please enjoy the rest of today's episode, and big shoutouts to Wuthering Waves intro song for being the intro to this episode. I started the year by playing Wuthering Waves for the first time when it came to PS5 in 2025, and while I am definitely still very early in that game, it is a pretty fun gacha free-to-play game. So if you enjoy one of those, I definitely cannot recommend enough checking it out for the price of free, as long as it's on your platform. And hey, has some really good music as well. Blues theme from Dynasty Warriors Origins, which released earlier this year. And hey, if you have a Switch 2, it is coming out in just a couple of weeks in 2026. Now, on a completely polar opposite tone musically, here we've got a brand new song from Rift of the Necrodancer. So if anyone out there may have missed it, a follow-up, pseudo-sequel, brand new rhythm-like game came out from the creators of Crypt of the Necrodancer. And if you love the music in that game, you will not be disappointed with Rift. It is an absolute banger, no matter where you play it, and has had a lot of cool crossovers. So please enjoy. Next up is a song from Urban Myth Dissolution Center. I had not heard about this game until the end of the year, where just about every Atlas team member getting interviewed could not stop recommending this game. I had totally missed it. Checked it out, and I'm very early on into it, but at the very least, cannot recommend it enough for the music alone. Very haunting, great pixel art style, and yeah, just total sleeper release that I heard almost no one talk about until Atlas staff had brought up. was Mad Dog from Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I probably added or removed a couple syllables there. But absolutely crazy how many games RGG Studios crank out every year. But damn, they know how to make a good soundtrack. And speaking of games that most people really seem to have forgotten about, whether it be on purpose or just from lack of support, Monster Hunter Wilds came out this year. And Monster Hunter always gets a lot of love. Never enough, I feel like, in the soundtrack department. I think they do such a great job with the big, grand-scale orchestra battle themes that are just so memorable. So please check out this song from Wilds, and hope you enjoy. Here's the main theme from Split Fiction, another game that kind of came and had a lot of praise and attention from people back when it released earlier this year, but one of the unfortunate things with coming out earlier in the year, a little bit harder for new people to hear as much word of mouth about it when games are just constantly coming out all the freaking time. And another really, really good just soundtrack in terms of conveying a lot of different tones, genres, and cannot recommend it enough. And really, while the game I heard a lot of praise for it, these games you don't really always hear a lot about their soundtracks, but they really do a lot to elevate the experience of playing it as well. And Split Fiction was no different there. Next up, we've got Assassin's Creed Shadows, a really interesting kind of departure for Assassin's Creed in terms of its soundtrack. They had, I felt, really taken a pretty interesting step in this direction with Shadows, and I was really, really pleased with it. Obviously, the game is about 900 hours long. I have not finished Shadows, but the music has been one of the most striking things on top of playing it outside of the story and visuals for it. But hey, Assassin's Creed Shadows, I didn't forget you. You've got a really, really interesting soundtrack and a pretty cool game, which now is on even more platforms, so isn't that neat? This was one of the brand new songs from Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, which came out earlier this year as well, and just saying that out loud seems like absolutely insane to think that not only did we finally get Xenoblade X on Switch, but it came with new story, new music, and even more ways for people to experience such an awesome game. And doing another musical 180 in terms of tone, another game that came out completely of nowhere, Blue Prince, which has an extremely haunting soundtrack. If you are someone who enjoys taking a knee in video games, especially if you have to think about lots of puzzles, Blue Prince should definitely be on your to-play list. acclaimed Atelier Yumiya, which released earlier this year from Gust. And next up we had a game that literally I almost forgot about, and if I did, I would have felt so bad. So Patrick, thank you so much for reminding me about Promise Mascot Agency, a game that really came out of nowhere for me. Crazy cast, funny premise, looks amazing, and soundtrack to match it. You know you gotta check it out. This was a track from Shantae Advance Risky Revolution, and what's so interesting about this game is that it was originally cancelled. After the first Shantae game, the sequel was going to be on GBA, got canned, and inevitably ended up becoming the DSi sequel we had with the Risky's Revenge. And really cool that it came back to life. The game can be played on original GBA hardware, but also released later in the year on all major platforms. So, more Shantae, hard to complain. Soundtrack to match is so fun. But next up is an obvious one. Expedition 33, I had to include it. Might as well have just included the whole soundtrack, but I had to pick my favorite track, which without a doubt had to be this one, so please enjoy Monoko's theme. This song is from the 100-line Last Defense Academy. Released earlier this year as a Switch console exclusive and on PC as well. Comes from 2Q Games, the mad minds behind Danganronpa and Zero Escape series. This has to be up there as one of my most criminally unplayed games of last year, and it's mostly just from lack of time and did not love the idea of playing it on my Switch, but if there's anything this team is known for outside of amazing art and storytelling is the music, and this game did not disappoint. Speaking of a series that you cannot escape the music discussion, Doom: The Dark Ages came out this year. Absolutely rocked in terms of everyone I know who has played it has, for the most part, really enjoyed it. I don't think anyone's going to say it is the best out of the modern Doom trilogy, but it continues to crush it in the FPS game. And even though the music is by a different composer than the first Doom and Doom Eternal, still a very welcome addition. Great soundtrack, great use of guitars, and enjoy. Now, this song I wanted to give a special introduction to just because it came out this year and did not do very well, and that is To a T. It's the newest game by Keita Takahashi, who you may know from Nobi Nobi Boy and Katamari Damacy, and yeah, it came out. It's a fantastic soundtrack, and just unfortunately has not really caught on. Hopefully you guys enjoy this song. It's the opening track. It is a game full of so much charm, so many great characters, and the music is just the cherry on top. So please enjoy To a T. Check it out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell your rabbi, tell your local giraffe. They all need to know.
You are the perfect shape. We are the perfect shape. I want to change PJ. I want to dry my face. I want to use the restroom by myself. The little things, yeah, the little things are hard for me. Oh, I don't know why I am a T. It's not so bad all the time. It's not so bad. My cute dog helps me out so we can go and la 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 la. Why I be T-shape, not U or F O. Find the secret key over the rainbow. I don't know how I became the shape of a T. Never forget you're the perfect shape. But I can spin so fast I can fly in the sky. Believe in yourself, you're the perfect shape. I don't know what my dog is thinking about. You're the perfect shape. I don't have any idea what perfect means. I'm not afraid to be me.
I would be remiss not to include Elden Ring Night Rain on this soundtrack, just because FromSoft does not miss when it comes to soundtracks. And Night Rain is no different. It may not be a mainline traditional FromSoft game, or even a traditional Souls-like game in general, but the aesthetics are there, the music is fantastic, and has to be given a shout out. And introducing my next game was one I wasn't having a hard time putting on the list. I was like, oh, well, what do I include? And that's because Deltarune kind of officially came out, even though it's only chapter 1 through 4 out right now. But if somehow you've missed it, or have not heard everyone talking about Undertale, Deltarune chapters 1 through 4 is out, and the soundtrack does not miss. Toby Fox, keep it up. Can't wait to see where the story goes. And that was Mario Kart World getting some love. Say what you will about the Switch 2, Mario Kart World versus Mario Kart 8. Undoubtedly, to anyone with ears out there, Mario Kart World has one of the most impressive and almost overwhelming soundtracks, ranging from new songs, covers, remixes, arrangements. It's all over the place, and controversial opinion, well worth the $80, and just was so much fun to go through. Picking one song is so hard. Picking one version of one song is so hard. So I hope you all enjoyed this pick here. Now, next up is a bit of a cheat. It is a remaster, and that is Raito Remastered getting some love. Raito did not have any brand new songs in the core of the game, but released along with it were a bunch of new rearrangements and remixes, and this one is the Lax Detective Agency Sweet and Macabre Night in Sukodocho 2006, 1931, 2025 version. Enjoy. That was Dull Man by Ludwig Forssell from Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Death Stranding is such an amazing game, and honestly might be one of my game of the years, if not my game of the year from last year. And the music is such a big part of that. From the new tracks by Woodkid, the licensed music, Carolyn Palachuk, and obviously Low Roar. So many great artists are there, but I really wanted to include this song from Ludwig because he has been working with Kojima since Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, and just brings such a great sound to this series. Now, going into another track, we've got our other Atlas representation, and that is a song from Persona 5, The Phantom X. Crash Symphony from Donkey Kong Bonanza, and this was another one similar to Mario Kart that was just so incredibly hard to pick one song, and I kind of wanted to go with this version, even though it's an older song, just due to the fact that I think what makes Donkey Kong Bonanza so fun is its surprises, and that includes the music. Now, obviously, I could include something like the Zebra song, or especially one of the final tracks that hit so hard, but experiencing that through a YouTube video or a podcast is one thing. I think experiencing that in the game. Now, this song has been played through so many different games, covers, and even just other people playing it online. I think this version, though, specifically for Bonanza, was such a nostalgic, warm cup of coffee feeling that I had to include on here. Now, speaking of nostalgic, we had to represent not one, but multiple Ninja Gaiden games coming out this year, and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound was the summer of Shinobi, the summer of ninjas, the samurais, everyone was getting a piece of the action, and the soundtrack for Ninja Gaiden is definitely, I don't think Ninja Gaiden gets enough love when it comes to the music, and Ragebound did not disappoint. This was from Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which released at the tail end of the summer, and it was really funny, especially coming back from Ninja Gaiden Ragebound to Shinobi coming back on the same summer, of having these two old 2D side-scrolling games come back in such different ways by such different developers, and their soundtracks absolutely did not disappoint. Shinobi was such a strong one. I mean, listen, you have Yuzo Koshiro and T-Loops, you're not going to be disappointed in any way. But this next song is kind of interesting, because the game got a lot of coverage, but the music, I think a lot of people just assumed it was more of the same, and that's Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. The interesting thing with Delta is there's actually not a ton, but there are some new songs, and while I would have liked to include some of them, without context they don't work as strong. And I mean, let's be honest, if we're gonna get demonetized, let's go full tell. When you think of Snake Eater, you think of the song by Cynthia Harrell, Snake Eater, and she was brought back. They redid the entire opening sequence and had Cynthia perform a Delta version of Snake Eater. So without further ado, please enjoy. If you've played the game, you'll enjoy it. If you haven't heard this new take, it's definitely worth a listen.
With darkness and silence through the night, what a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. Someday you'll feed on a tree frog. This ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new life, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime,
can't talk about notable video games, and especially notable video game soundtracks, without bringing up Hollow Knight's Silk Song. And yes, the game didn't disappoint after all these years. The soundtrack definitely was not going to be disappointing anyone after all these years. And what's funny is, even though I have still not personally had a chance to play through all of Hollow Knight, one of the things that have always stood out with it so much is how good the music was. And wow, they just absolutely cranked it up to 10 with Silk Song and have done such a great job. For our next song, though, we'll be hearing a snippet from Chronos, and Chronos was definitely a surprise for me as a longtime Bloober believer. I wouldn't say I was a Bloober Team fan, but I've somehow played like every single one of their games, and especially in a post-Silent Hill 2 remake world, people were very interested to see where would the team go. Where would this land? Was this going to be more medium, or was this going to be a new step forward in a post-Silent Hill 2 world? And I think Chronos was interesting of sort of finding its own foothold, and instead of just feeling like another Silent Hill 2, almost like the team's own take on Dead Space, which was really, really cool to see, especially in a world where we're not getting one of those for a while. official pick or just me putting it out there because I've always been a fan of the series. But I felt inclined to include Borderlands 4, even though I actually haven't gotten around to playing it. It released in such a crazy busy month, and all the state of the game at launch kind of didn't really make me feel like I was in a huge hurry to play it. But I was like, oh, I should still check out the soundtrack, and was very pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh yeah, this sounds great. Borderlands has such an interesting kind of vibe that I'm always interested or sort of drawn back to it, even after all these years. Now, speaking of being drawn back to things, Falcom, they just can't stop releasing games, but more than just another Ys game, more than just another Tokyo Xanadu, they really stepped it up this year with the release of Trails in the Sky First Chapter Remake. Absolutely blew away my expectations. Game was a full, ground-up remake of the PSP original, and fully stands up as not only one of their most graphically impressive games, but a fantastic starting point for anyone who either wants to check out Falcom games or, more importantly, get into the Trails in the Sky series. So, check it out, enjoy the music, and this is one remake you do not want to miss this year.
Look, we're washed right up onto our shore. Lady, you're all out of luck. Not enough, you said you wanted more. Careful what you're wishing for. Whirlpool sucks you.
Hades 2, and just massive shout out to everyone at Supergiant who worked on this game, and the sound team, everyone who works in it, from the instruments to the vocals to everything. They just absolutely pour 110% into like everything they do, whether it be the music, the original songs, like who they invite on in terms of like working on each one of the tracks. They all feel so different and unique from each other, even compared to Hades 1. It's really, really cool to see. Now, taking another complete 180, we've done a lot of those today, if you couldn't tell. We've got Silent Hill F. Silent Hill F is such an interesting game. I'm very early into it myself, but what a absolute surprise. I don't think anyone was expecting this game to really hit with people as much as it did, from the characters to the writing and the music. And it's just so cool to see Silent Hill being back, bigger and better than ever, with a remake and now with a brand new title. Enjoy. Check this game out. Cannot recommend it enough. was the main theme from Ghosts of Yotei, and Ghosts of Yotei was such an interesting sequel. As a big fan of the first one, Sucker Punch in general, and everything, it was very interesting of once it kind of arrived, it was like, yeah, it's more of Ghost of Tsushima, just in a different presentation, different character, things like that, which more of a good thing is never a bad thing, but I think definitely led to it sort of disappearing out of the conversation earlier than most would have expected. Now, something that lasted longer in the conversation, which I was very happy to be wrong with, was Digimon Story Time Stranger. Digimon Story has been a series I've been advocating for a very, very long time, and Time Stranger has absolutely blown away my expectations. Everyone has really been enjoying it. The soundtrack is fantastic, which is not a surprise to anyone who's played any of these Cyber Sleuth games. But yes, please enjoy. Please check out Time Stranger. I cannot recommend it enough. One of my favorite RPGs of the year, hands down. pit, and while I have not personally gone around to checking it out myself, the overwhelming majority of people who I have had recommend it to me, swearing up and down how great it is, had to check it out myself, and the game looks great, super interesting premise, and the soundtrack was definitely not what I was expecting, but was a really pleasant surprise. And speaking of surprises, Pokemon ZA. Pokemon is so interesting when it comes to soundtracks. I never know what to expect with the Pokemon Company, and I'm glad to say they are still on their hot streak. I loved the soundtrack in Scarlet and Violet, and ZA is really interesting. I mean, as a game, it's also really interesting, but yeah, you never really know what to kind of expect with them, and the general soundtrack for this game was just such a pleasant surprise. Especially the trainer battles have just been so fun to listen to that had to include them here. Ninja Gaiden 4 on the list, and not just because I'm a big dumb fan of Platinum Games. I thought the soundtrack to it was a really nice, pleasant surprise, and obviously in a year where there are 3 Ninja Gaiden games, getting 2 on the list, not too bad. And next up was one I was a little bit surprised to include, and that was Dispatch. Dispatch has absolutely taken the world by storm, especially once the first season wrapped. And while I haven't been able to go through it myself, what I thought was interesting listening to the soundtrack was, obviously there are a lot more like traditional songs you might hear with like vocals and stuff, but the actual score to each of the episodes was so interesting. It kind of took me back to when I would listen to a lot of TV show soundtracks. And the score for this was just so well done, really, really nice, set the tone, and just fits with the game so well that it's one of those things that, like, yeah, it's in the background. You're not always really thinking about it because you're mostly listening to what all the actors are saying, but just does such a great job complementing the whole experience.
手する君が言うと上がる言葉だから王子はナンバー2小さなものからコロコロと頭で考えずやるよいつだってほら僕ら君のパートナーと言えるよねTime. Pretty, pretty dance, pretty, pretty, pretty dance. Everybody word, everybody word. Get your star, get your star.
Now, I'm not sure how many people are going to be shocked to hear this, but a brand new Katamari game came out this year, and that was Once Upon a Katamari. Absolutely crazy that it took so many years to get a true sequel, but I'm glad it's here, and more people definitely need to check it out. If you know anything about me, you know I am a big fan of the music in Katamari, along with the crazy gameplay. But this next song is very special to me for many reasons. It's one of my Game of the Years. It is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. And this track in particular, I remember I did a full stop when it first came up. A, because it just sounded so beautiful. And hearing this arrangement of Dragon Roost Island, but in a place I never would have expected to see it, a Hyrule Warriors sequel, was absolutely crazy. Hyrule Warriors, I know it is not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to gameplay, but they do such a great job. AAA Game Studios has obviously worked on games before when they were part of the Omega Force team with previous Hyrule Warriors games, but there's just something so special when they work with the Zelda IP. It's hard to put my finger on it, but enjoy the song, check out the game. I cannot recommend it enough.
Emotion running through our veins. Heartbeat, love is making waves. Emotion running through our veins.
Another absolutely surprising release this year was Luminous Arise, another game we haven't seen a sequel for since the PlayStation Vita one, Electronic Symphony. And Luminous Arise, I could just include a song in full, but it just didn't really seem right. So I wanted to include specifically this song, because it was used in the reveal trailer, and it's a different version of the song you'll hear in the full game. But if you are a fan of Tetris Effect, have ever played Luminous, or just good music in general, please, please, please check it out. Luminous is such a special game, and the songs just hit so much more different when you're playing it versus just listening to it. I cannot recommend it enough for everybody. And another one that, again, the year of just surprises and me putting them in chronologically, making it be totally all over the place, but we've got Demon School. Now, Demon School is interesting because I'd been following this one for a while as it was inspired by classic Persona like 1 and 2 style RPGs, and had some delays, had a lot of stuff kind of from the announcement all the way to the release, but while I haven't been able to sink my teeth into it too much just because it came out so late in November, checking out the soundtrack has really reinvigorated me wanting to finally check out the full game. It looks great, sounds great, made by a small team. Very, very interested to see where the game goes, especially to see where the rest of the soundtrack goes, but check it out. Let me know if you have played Demon School. Would love to hear any opinions on it if you have it. year of Nintendo Switch 2 games coming out with absolute bangers is not over. Kirby Air Riders came out and absolutely floored me when I was doing the beta before release. Outside of how fun the game was, how crazy it looked, and how excited I was to check out the full product, I was like, man, I do not remember Kirby Air Riders having this good of a soundtrack in the original GameCube one. And it was a fine soundtrack, but obviously you can tell the lessons they've learned from Kirby Air Ride all the way to Air Riders has really shown up, and the soundtrack is great. There are so many different tracks to listen to, so many variations. It is an absolute delight. Now, another game that I was surprised by, that I shouldn't be surprised by, the pedigree of it is fantastic. We've got T-Loops again, Tribute Games, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, another great beat-em-up from this team, and the soundtrack is just, it's an embarrassment of riches. It's like, okay, well, I know the soundtrack's great, but what track do I pick? And I picked Wakanda for a couple of reasons. I thought the stage was very, very memorable, but what's so funny about it is listening to it, I immediately thought to myself, I was like, this, you could just like drag and drop this into like Sonic anything, like Sonic Mania 2 or whatever, and it would be like, yeah, like this works like just as well. It's just a certified banger, such a great song, and yeah, not even that old. We've made it to December. We're slowly getting to the end of the year. was a song from Octopath Traveler 0, another absolutely stacked category for amazing RPG music, and had to include it on here. And we are just about at the end of the list. We've got one more full song left, and that is for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Had to include it. The year of me dodging the Nintendo shill allegations will not be denied, and whether you love Metroid Prime 4, don't care about it, or hate it, the soundtrack and the visuals for it just go so well together. And yeah, it was an absolute surprise to see how well it turned out after all these years, and was just so fun to get to finally play Metroid Prime 4 for myself, and I've just been falling in love with the series all over again, just playing through it. It has been so much fun. Without further ado, that is the end of SMTN Radio for 2025. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you heard a couple songs you enjoyed, maybe a song or two you had never heard from a game you've been meaning to check out that sparked your interest. Let me know what you think. If you have any notes, I appreciate any and all feedback. We will be back to our regular scheduled Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, and Atlas-related shenanigans next week, but I figured it's the new year, let's celebrate, let's get a almost 3-hour-long show where we talk about music, and I loved doing this. This took way longer than I thought it would, unsurprisingly, much like with most projects I do, but this was just so much fun, and yeah, this was so much fun to do. I really hope that you get to enjoy this, and I thought, what should our outro song be? And when I was going through the list of new music from this year, I remembered there was actually new Super Mario Galaxy music. So without further ado, we're going to end the year with new music from Super Mario Galaxy. What a weird world we live in. Enjoy 2026. I will talk to you all later. Hopefully you enjoyed the music. I enjoyed making this playlist for all of you. Have a good one. See ya.